Welcome to Business Casual, where entrepreneurs find inspiration to start and grow their online business. On today's episode, I'm sitting down with internationally known Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Phil Miglerese. He's the founder of Balance Studios and the best-selling online course, Yoga for Fighters. So let's head on over to Balance Studios and pin down just how Phil made it happen. Phil, thank you so much for having us today. I'm pumped to be here. So can you give us a quick kind of elevator pitch for your business?
Sure. Well, Balance Studios, it's a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai academy. So we run things like a university, level 1, level 2, level 3, going from simple to professional.
So you're a kick-ass Jiu-Jitsu fighter, but then you also transitioned into teaching yoga. Like, how did that happen?
Well, actually, it's the other way around.
Really?
So I started yoga when I was 8 years old. And so I was lucky enough to go to a school. The gym teacher was a yoga teacher, and she showed us, yoga positions. I went to my first formal class when I was like about 11 years old, and that's when I started jiu-jitsu. And then I just practiced both pretty much every single day for, now it's about 30 years.
So let's talk marketing.
Right.
You started an email list like way back in the day before it was like cool.
Right.
And now you've grown it to, you've got like 100,000 people on your list. Can you tell us the story of how that came about?
I traveled to California to the best jiu-jitsu place, the Gracie Academy in California. They were offering a teacher training. So to keep in contact with my students back here, which it was just a handful at the time, I started an email list, but there was no formal way to go on the internet because the internet was 99 or 98 or 97. The internet was terrible. So I got an Excel sheet, used Outlook, and I sent individually, and then every once in a while I would get like a kickback. It's like too many people to send it to. So anyway, it started about 100 people. And then people were asking, how do I get on this thing? And I figured it out, and like we were talking about before with email marketing companies that started to pop up. And so I was able to put up jujitsumatrix.com, and all it said, and you can go into the Wayback Machine and check it out, it said, join the Matrix, enter your email here. That's all it was, And people in the jiu-jitsu world got in there, and I was sending, first I would send text, describe a move, which is, it's a terrible way to learn jiu-jitsu, but I did it. And then I got to pictures, and then I got to video, and that's when it exploded. And then it just grew over time, because when you're like the only one doing something, people talk, and they send it around through email. At the time, there was no share button, and it just grew. So, and then email is different these days, but it's still very, very efficient.
So it's still going today.
Yep.
What kinds of tools are you using? What email marketing system, and what kinds of things are you doing?
I use Aweber. I've been using Aweber for the whole time, pretty much.
And you're at 100,000. You're using Aweber.
Aweber and multiple, because of the way they store things, it gets expensive. So I have a strategy, and they give me a discount, so that's nice. So like I said, I still use Aweber, but I use the automated system differently. I don't want to, I don't. The first few that you get, I want you to get more familiar with me and what I'm offering. So I have an automated system. But once you're in it, you're getting the real email from me that I'm typing out every month.
How often are you mailing out now?
Once a month, because I can reach people socially now. I don't have to do it that way, and I make it special and exclusive to that. You're not going to get it on social. It's special for that particular email.
You put out a lot of free content, free video content, but you also have info products that you sell. I know you have Yoga for Fighters. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about?
Again, I think it was 99 I started sending emails, something like that. And that was through like Outlook, let's say. And I started with my opt-in page in early 2000s. And people would email me questions, and I would answer them on video in a very simple format, a very long time ago. And more people were asking me about yoga than jiu-jitsu, because there was a need for it. There were people out there practicing jiu-jitsu, hurting their knees, hurting their hips. They weren't able to do certain moves, and they knew that yoga was the answer, and they knew I was practicing for a long time, and so they're asking me. So talking about like listening to your audience, I didn't really listen in the beginning. I was like, I want the jiu-jitsu questions, but they were asking me the yoga questions. And after a while, I said, you know what? Let's do something I put together a very particular system. I tested it for 5 years to make sure it works for the average person. And then I put it back in the day, it was like a digital download. So you would go here, pay, and then it would send it. Within 3 weeks, I had 20,000 downloads.
Wow.
It's insane.
What was the price point?
price was like $9 or $10, you know, something like that at that point. And I always joke, I'm like, man, I wish I charged more for that one. I was like, that would have been great. But it, you know, it worked. And then later, people were emailing me, hey, we can't put this on our TV. Can you do a DVD? So I think around 05 or 06, I put out the Yoga for Fighters DVD. And that got so popular that I was mailing them myself and putting them in there. And then every day it was like 10, 20, 30, seriously they got. And then I did a partnership with Asia World of Martial Arts. They were like the first or second largest distributor of martial arts stuff on the planet. They're right here in Philadelphia. So I did a deal with them. They became the exclusive distributor of that DVD. And then, I mean, it was more than 50,000 sold, like from them. Amazing. So yeah, it's amazing. It's the most I've ever sold of something, but I think the most important for jiu-jitsu. So, and I didn't do much advertising, honestly, because I already had the people on my list. They already trusted me, and I delivered a product that was actually good. And it was a 3-hour disc that is now I converted it over to an app, and it's doing very well as an app. It's just different. It's a very expensive app in the app world. It's like $24, $25, but it's half of the price of the actual DVD, and you get it in 3 seconds. So you go Yoga for Fighters, you look at it, and you click it, and it's on your phone. But it's the same content as the DVD. Actually, it's more content because I add it to it. So, and that's the other good thing, is I'll just keep adding to that. It's one price, and I just keep adding videos to it.
Okay, so let's talk about lead gen. How are people finding your website to begin with and getting on the list? Is it?
I work on the site with my hands a lot, organically. I change things. You know, the SEO for a particular post are very targeted. So I get a lot of traffic naturally. Secondly, I use my email list too to point to whatever post that is. So I make it important for my students within one city and then everybody else around. So naturally it'll boost that page. Our word of mouth is very, very good in the city. My recommendation to people that don't have the skills and don't want to spend their time in that particular area, Facebook is amazing. You know, I just see the stats there and what I could, if I wanted more students, a lot more, and if I wasn't doing well, like we're packed. That's why I don't do any more advertising. I truly can't, like the rooms are packed. But if I wanted more people, I would target on Facebook. You can get to, you know, 1 mile away from your location. It's never been available ever. Would I use Google as much? I would not. Just right now, I would not.
Why is that?
I feel like you can target a lot better on Facebook, and there's a sense
you mean Google Ads?
I would, yeah. Right now, I would pick Facebook over Google, no disrespect to either company, just because of the targeting opportunities. I would boost important posts that reflect your brand right. Okay. And the way you actually use video, always, you know, mentioning, download my product, here it is, make it simple where it is, and, you know, if you're using it, it should definitely have some sort of opt-in through Facebook. So I always have, you'll see a link on there, click here, I'm gonna give you all this stuff.
So you're in 44 locations?
As of September, yeah, 44 affiliates. You can go all over the planet and go to a team balance school, yeah.
Very cool. So what challenges come with expanding? Did you make any mistakes along the way? And if so, what did you learn?
A very important thing for me is to start small. So the good thing about renting space is that you can rent small or you can rent big. In my experience of what I've seen, people opening the giant schools without information about neighborhoods or how it's going to go or ever being in the business, they tend to go out of business. So what I do is the opposite. I'll buy small, even though I know I'll probably get 100 people, but this one will just fit 30. I want to work efficiently in 30 and then move to 100 after that.
Any advice for people who, you know, have a physical location like a gym, but they want to leverage technology and leverage the internet to reach more people and potentially have, you know, passive income?
First part is you have to be a workhorse and give things away for free. People will download things from experts that are giving it away for free a lot faster than someone who's selling it. So let's say you're a CrossFit gym. You can have an email opportunity that's like the 10 easiest CrossFit techniques to learn, and I'll show you those for free. Like I give away memberships online. Like there's no BS to it. Like you opt in, I'll give you 30 days free. Like I really will. But people that don't opt in, that walk through the door, they don't get it. Yeah. So I want to have an incentive of getting someone and getting them here as quickly as possible and showing, hey, we're the best in town. I've been doing this my whole entire life, 30-something years, and then enroll. It's going to be the best thing you'll ever do.
What lessons have you learned in all these years of fighting and teaching yoga and practicing yoga that you've been able to carry over into the business world?
One, and I was just talking about it today, my friend came up to me, I was at a gym, came up to me, he was like, "What's up, boss?" He's like, "You're the boss, right?" I was like, "Technically I am, but I'm not. I have 1,000 bosses in Philadelphia. They're my students, they're my customers. I work for them. It's not the other way around." And I never ever forget that. And people out there, they should remember, once you gain customers, when there's so many, you can't know everyone, you can't know everything about every single one, but I like to be personal. I like to know as much as possible, so I'm not treating people like numbers, From Jiu-Jitsu is a very intelligent martial art. So you kind of sometimes will wait for someone to fight you as hard as they can, and then you go after them instead of picking fights.
So before we wrap today, our viewers are entrepreneurs in like every kind of industry you can think of.
Yeah.
What would you say are your top 3 pieces of advice for any business owner who wants to grow?
Use the internet to your advantage. That's one. And we can all figure it out in our own industries, how to do that, how to influence a brand to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. At one point, I think it's important to just go with what you have right now. Let's say I own a gym, I have 100 people. I want to play within that realm first. So I'm very resourceful. I want to be resourceful with money, advertising dollars, things like that. But if you have a group of 100 people, stick with that, work within that. Don't try to grow too fast if you don't know what you're doing in that small little environment, like test.
Take your time.
Take your time, branch out, make sure it works, and then scalability comes from proof.
Awesome. Phil, it was
you.
great talking to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. And thank you for watching Business Casual, the show where entrepreneurs find inspiration to start and grow their online business. And if you're not subscribed to the GrowthLab channel, make sure you click that subscribe button below so that you don't miss our next weekly interview. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.